Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lexi and today I'm going to give you my top 6 tips for being a successful project planner. Whether you are new to project planning or you've been doing it for a while and feel like you've been stuck in a rut, this video is for you, and these tips are going to help you lay the groundwork and provide you with the steps to have a successful project. So what is project planning? Project planning is taking specific products that you want to finish up before buying new products in that category. And this doesn't just have to be beauty products. You could do this with food, stationery, really any type of product that you have multiple types of. And project planning has kind of evolved to where it's not just hitting the pan of a product or finishing it, but you can also do it in a way of setting a set number of usage. I find this particularly helpful, especially if you have a lot in a category and you don't want to neglect your other products. Whatever your goal is, these tips can help you be a successful project planner and to reach those goals. I love project planning because you're able to really cycle through your products, and I feel like I can adequately give usage to everything that I have. And I feel like it really is a challenge sometimes to make yourself use something, especially when there are new products that you might want to buy. I personally love to try and recreate looks or types of formulas with what I already have. And this can be really fun, especially with trying to achieve a certain look. So my first tip is to not hate pan. If you're new to project planning, I highly discourage you from doing this. And hate panning is really what the name entails, taking a product that you hate and trying to finish it up. Every time I've done this, it has been a struggle, and I feel like it can really ruin the experience. You don't like a product, so you're not really going to be gravitated towards using it, so you're just forcing yourself to use something you don't like. I've done it a few times, and it can be humbling in the sense that it really reminds you that you shouldn't just make purchases without thinking about it. It can also show you how long it really takes to finish a product, and so again, you are more mindful when you do make purchases that you haven't thought about or things that are just on a whim. And personally, those are the reasons I tend to do it, just to remind myself. I prefer to research products and learn about it, watch reviews to make sure it's a suitable product for me and I'm getting my money's worth. But again, if you are new to this, I highly recommend that you do not do it because it can just make you feel miserable, and it can serve as a reminder to you that you made a useless purchase, and that can kind of make you feel guilty. I think it's important to understand those feelings that arise from it because you will be a more conscious consumer by addressing that you wasted your money, but at the same time, like, you've already spent the money on the product. Forcing yourself to use something that you don't like there really isn't a huge point to it, so I don't recommend doing that. Tip number 2 is to mix up your goals. If you are new to project planning and you have a goal, say finishing up a lipstick, you are in for a ride because you are going to see how long it truly takes to finish up a product. And some products have really amazed me and just stunned me in realizing that makeup takes forever to finish. I highly recommend having a variation of goals, some easier to obtain and some harder, more long-term goals, because you can have some fun and some variation. So there's a few different types of goals that I like to set. I like to pick 10 products where I set usage goals on them, and I like this because you get to switch up makeup that you're using every few months, and it can just make it a bit more manageable. My second goal is products that I want to hit pan on. So I like to do this for blushes or eyeshadow products, and those can also take forever. So I recommend having a mix of really easy goals, like a product that you know you're going to finish pretty frequently, like a setting spray or a lip balm, something that you use a lot and that you love. And you can also set harder goals of like an eyeshadow, for example. If it's an eyeshadow that you don't use often, it's going to take you a really long time. I've had ones where even using it pretty often, focusing on having to hit pan, it can take months. So those are going to be harder and aren't really realistic to have as, oh, this is going to be super easy goal, because it usually isn't. The third type of goal that I like to set is completely finishing up a product. And these I tend to like to focus having a mix of how easy the product is going to be to use up. For example, I'll usually throw in like a setting spray, something that I know I'm going to finish pretty quickly just because I'm using it. Products that are half used or less, those are also going to be easy because if you've used a product halfway, chances are you probably like it. And then the harder ones are just products that I know will take a long time. For example, like a foundation, a blush, eyeshadows, those are going to take a while and you really have to dedicate usage to using them. Having variations in the types of goals you set will just make this a much more enjoyable process. And again, if you have a larger collection of products, you don't really want to focus on just 10 products and the rest of the year your other products just get older and older. Having a mixture of goals that you reach will also mean that you are finishing products more often. And sometimes that is a good thing, especially if you say, I have this foundation that I want to finish. That's going to take you somewhere between 4 to 8 months. So if you're not finishing any other products during that time, it can really kind of mess with you and make you feel like you're not making any progress. If you feel like trying to completely finish a product is going to be too difficult for you, and that is setting usage goals. You can have your total project just be based on usage goals, and that is perfectly fine. I've done that before, and it really is just a fun way to rotate through your products. Especially if you have a lot of products in a category, you might not want to focus, say, like on a lipstick for 3 to 4 months while the rest of your makeup is getting neglected. This especially works if you feel intimidated to start a project. You can pick 5 to 10 products and set usage goals, say 10-15 times for each product. And as you get more comfortable and used to this type of using your makeup, you can increase how many times you want to use a product. And I also like to do this on types of products. I know for me, blush is pretty easy for me to set a usage goal, especially a higher usage goal. But when it comes to like lip products or eye products, I really like to switch things up, and I have so many products in those categories that I like to have smaller goals just so I can use my other stuff more. Tip number 4 is tracking your usage. The 2 main reasons I like to track my usage is 1, you can get a baseline of how long it takes to finish a product. And number 2 is so that I can have a visual representation that will help me in not becoming discouraged in my progress. So by creating a baseline of how long it takes to finish a product, say a blush or a foundation, you can get an idea of how long it will take to finish the next product in that category. And the main reasoning of project planning is probably because you want to decrease how many products you have. So when you finish your product, it usually probably isn't a brand new product, but you can get a sense of how long it really takes to use it up, and then you can calculate how much time it'll take to finish all of your products. And it can be kind of uncomfortable having to calculate that because you might realize you have years worth of products, and that will kind of stop you from wanting to buy new things because you have so much stuff already, and the more you don't use it, it's just getting older and older, and then at some point you might not be able to use it anymore. The second part of documenting your progress can be very helpful, especially if it's kind of hard to see a visual difference in how much you've used. I see this a lot with powder products or foundations where it's really hard to see how much product there's left because there's a lot and it's going to take a lot of uses. But I like to take pictures once a month of these products, at least my long-term ones, where you can always make like a little line on the side of the bottle if you're able to see how much product is left in there. And it's just crazy to see. Like at first you might not see a whole lot of progress, and then eventually you'll see more and more progress, and it really just kind of like helps solidify the habit of using the product. And it's kind of fun because you get towards the end and you're like, I really want to finish this product, like just counting how many more uses, and it can be really fun. I like to take a tally as well as weigh the product because while you may not be able to see the difference from a month ago, if you've used it 20, 30 times, there's going to be a difference. And it can just be nice to know that your efforts are making progress. Tip number 5 is probably my favorite, and it's to shop your stash. So I've seen a lot of confusion on what shopping your stash is, and it's really just shopping from your own collection. So I personally don't have all of my makeup in the same drawers. I will have what I'm currently using in one drawer, and then everything else is put away and just out of reach, out of sight, out of mind. And this can be very helpful, especially if you have so many products, if you have decision fatigue and what to wear. It kind of makes the products that you aren't seeing or reaching for seem like brand new because you haven't been using them for a while. I like to do it with the seasons, but you can definitely do it like once a month, or like if you want to create little bags of type of makeup. or types of look that you want to achieve with that makeup. There's so many fun ways that you can have this set up, but what I like to do is first clean out my drawer and decide what I'm going to put away and what I want to keep. So usually what will stay is like a primer or a foundation, setting spray, sometimes powders, though I do like to mix those up too. Then I will go through and pick everything that I think works. So when I switch for the seasons, I'll pick a few blushes, eyeshadow palettes, and I do try to have it like pretty minimal, though minimal for me might be different for you. And I like to use those products just for the next few months, and when the time comes to change it out, do the same thing all over again. It can help you stay organized and kind of realize how much stuff you have, but also just makes the experience feel like you are shopping in a store and seeing new products. A little mini tip to kind of go along with this one is making sure your products are clean. So I have a lot of like powder products where sometimes it just looks gross on the outer packaging, and wiping that down can actually make the appearance of it just look so much nicer and make it feel like a brand new product again. I highly recommend doing that, especially if you have like dirty palettes. The last tip is to remember that this is supposed to be fun and you shouldn't be punishing yourself by doing this. Your reason for project panning might be that you feel you have way too much product, or that you're trying to save money, or that you're trying to punish yourself for making these decisions to buy these products rather than spending that money for something else. And I just want to remind you that it's good to be aware of your shopping habits and have that thought as well as the action of, okay, I need to stop buying things and just use what I have. This shouldn't ruin your relationship with makeup products, nor should it make you feel guilty for spending the money. You already spent the money, and if you're not able to return it, then kind of dwelling over the fact of feeling guilty isn't going to do you any good. So rather than dwelling in the thought of it, you can put action into trying to finish these products. But again, like not doing the heat panning and setting realistic goals are all going to help you just feel better about this, be a more conscious consumer, and kind of help and restore your habits with shopping or makeup. Something I also want to address is that there have been times where I'm project panning and I just feel so overwhelmed with having to use specific products. And if you ever feel that way, take a break. It's supposed to be fun. Use what you want. And I like to do that every now and then where if I have a little extra time in the morning to get ready, I'll just go through all my makeup and kind of just have fun picking out what I want to wear that day. Either my favorite products or products that I haven't used forever. You can definitely get burnt out from trying to do project panning, especially if you have a lot of products and you feel like you're not really making as much progress as maybe others are. But like I said, this is supposed to be fun and enjoyable, and you can definitely do this. As always, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your support and all of you that are subscribed. If you enjoyed this video, I would love if you like and subscribe to help support me and my channel. As always, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!